Why is being a nice guy unattractive to women?
There's a difference between a nice guy and a good guy. We want the good guy.
What is porn doing to men, to relationships?
When you cheat on your partner, let's say you're cheating on someone for a year. Don't assume every single person is gonna be your girlfriend. You go so long without intimacy.
When do you have the sex conversation? Does body count matter?
Oh my gosh.
How to connect with someone on Tinder?
You have to have an excellent profile. I love to travel. I am a foodie. I. It makes it I don't want to meet the guy who's had all the travel experiences without me, made all the money without me, bought the house without me. I want to do it with you. Men tell me they want the relationship. As soon as shit gets real, these guys ghost. The key to successful early stage dating is...
Kavita, you're a love coach for men.
I am.
So how does a man attract a high value woman?
Right into it. Let's talk about what a high value woman is, what a high value man is. It's a buzzword, and we are attaching a lot of meaning to it unnecessarily, is what I'm seeing. A high value man or woman is someone who values their time. It's someone who values the way they think about themselves. It's someone who values the way they treat others. And that automatically attracts like-minded people. Like attracts like. A high-value woman knows that she wants to build with someone. She wants to do this together. She wants to have those experiences together. That's what builds the bonds, and that's what builds your relationship. I don't want to meet the guy who's had all the travel experiences without me, made all the money without me, bought the house without me. I want to do it. I want to do it with you. Let's crush this game of life together. The way you know if, first of all, you're not attracting the right women is you're not enjoying dating. That is when you are feeling constantly confused, when you're feeling a lot of anxiety, when you're overthinking everything. You are not enjoying your dating life in a way that it can be. So that's your first indication of something needs to change here. Something's not right. When you are valuing what others think of you more than what you think of yourself, when you're valuing other people's time more than your own time, again, that starts to be the slippery slope, or possibly the way you've been operating the entire time, which is why you'll end up being so frustrated with dating and often throwing in the towel and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. And a lot of men will go into that zone of, I just need to work on myself and I'm not doing this. Men, let's say 27 to 37, single their whole lives. This has never been something that's worked for them. And this is shocking.
Are you finding that it's like people that are on the fringes of society and like people that you might consider like nerds or outcasts, or is it like, are men that are your average Joe, working class men, the ones that are struggling with dating?
Honestly, it's across the board. Yes, I would say your average Joe is struggling, but there are men who I look at their Instagrams because they'll be in my DMs and I'm looking and I'm like, what's on a pure surface level? I can't really see what's wrong. Good looking guy, has friends, looks like he's traveling, looks like he has a good job. So it's deep down. A lot of it boils down to a fear of rejection, not feeling worthy, not feeling like, if I go out and do this thing, will she choose me back? And it's easier to, in their eyes, play it safe and not try it all.
Mm-hmm. And so then what are the things that you help, or like, what are the things that men need to do to become someone that is a successful dater and can get into a successful relationship?
Mm-hmm. I'll say the most cliche thing, self-love, believing in yourself first. There is a line from the book Turning Pro, and it's one of my favorite lines in the book, and it's refine your skills to match your instincts. And this is something that I do with men, because men who want to be seen as romantic and they want to be sexual and they want to lead and they want to look at a woman and wrap her in his arms, and they can't do it. The instincts are there, but they are frozen in place. So we need to refine your skills. We have to reconnect you with your emotions. The men that I'm talking to, they're not connected to their emotions. They don't understand that they don't need another strategy. They don't need another Instagram reel or YouTube video. They need to go out and be in the real world and take action on some level. Easiest way to just get started, I call it the small talk challenge. Get out into the world, start complimenting people, start saying hello, not just to attractive women, anyone and everywhere. Spread good vibes, cultivate that muscle of just starting a conversation, whether you're standing in line, whether you're on your commute, whatever it is. We have to stop staring at our phones and we need to start making eye contact and just like stretching those vocal cords, warming up those vocal cords. Go out, explore, experiment, please.
What can a man do to create momentum for himself in the dating world?
It really depends on the starting point. So in my programs and when I'm working with men, something I say is the vision is similar. What we're working towards, the dream relationship, whether that looks like a marriage or family or companionship, whatever that looks like to you, we have that locked in. The starting point where everybody starts from is a little bit different. So there'll be some men who could be a single dad, could be someone who's divorced. It could be a guy who has never been in a relationship. So as a starting point, it varies, but I think the core pieces remain the same. We have to get out and socialize. We have to stop sitting behind the screen, staying home, ordering in, watching porn, thinking that this is serving our emotional needs when it's disconnecting us from reality and dating and relationships more than anything. Men tell me all the time, I just want to be in a long-term relationship. I just want to be in a long-term relationship. They are not thinking about the steps required to form an emotional connection. That is the way to be in a long-term relationship. No one is going to thrive and have a healthy connection with someone if there is no emotional depth. And the more you refrain from dating, the more you refrain from being out and about, socializing, going to a speed dating event, a networking event, volunteering, anything, you are going to end up with what I call intimacy erosion, where you go so long without intimacy. And I'm not talking about sex, just the feeling of closeness, being able to bond with someone, being able to have a deep, meaningful conversation. When you go so long without that, you lose the ability to form a connection over time.
I believe this is like one of the greatest problems that we need to solve in the next 10 years is loneliness.
Yes.
Yeah.
If a man is feeling really lonely today and has isolated himself, I would recommend the easiest thing you can do is sign up for some volunteer work. It gives you purpose. It gives you a sense of self-worth. There's connection there. There's no application form. You don't have to pay for anything. It is such an easy first step to just get back out there. Highly recommend.
How are dating apps hurting relationships?
Here at our fingertips, we have this tool that allows us to meet single men and women locally or any part of the world that we would never otherwise cross paths with. So I'm going to challenge you on that. And I'm taking the stance of dating apps are a gift. We should not be relying on them as the only avenue of meeting someone. They are a fantastic tool. 40% of adult couples today are meeting on dating apps. They work. But society has this twisted story wanting, again, to make any effort that we're actually making to be in a relationship. It's like, it's as if they're trying to strip it away. You have to do it this way. It must be an organic meeting. Meet at a wedding, go here, go there. Use the apps. If they're working for you, use the apps. At least have it as one way of creating opportunities to meet new people. Have that working for you in the background.
So how does a guy slide into the DMs without being creepy?
There is a way to meet women on Instagram. I would give the same advice is if you were an influencer or someone looking to build brand partnerships, business partnerships. You don't just go in and ask someone for a date. We know that if you're looking to find a high value mentor, you can't be that person that's like, hey, I want to pick your brain. Let's go for coffee. What do? You have to give value. You have to create a bond. You have to create a connection. If you want to spend your time developing those connections on Instagram, a few things. One, make sure your Instagram looks great. You're doing cool stuff that you are giving someone else a reason to come and check you out and say, wow, what's this guy up to? He looks cool. He looks cool. Like photos, comment, be genuine, ask questions about the person's story, then slide into the DMs. Okay, there's a warm-up phase. Dating has not changed that much. The core elements are still the same. Meet someone, smile, build a bond, build some rapport, express curiosity, ask questions, see if there's a connection, flirt, make eye contact. Don't assume every single person is going to be your girlfriend, right? Actually take some time to get to know them. Figure out for yourself, do I like this person? Not just so focused on, does this person like me? Not just so focused on, can I get a date? Do I actually like this person? Is there a real connection here? Then, you know what? This has been really fun. Would love to continue the conversation. Can I take you out for coffee? We are looking at platforms like Instagram and dating apps like a shortcut to getting the date. Definitely, we can skip some steps, but that foundational piece of still building a connection with someone and seeing if there's something there, that hasn't gone anywhere.
So what are some of your top recommendations? You mentioned Instagram, but what are your top recommendations on how to connect with someone on Tinder?
It all starts with you. You have to have an excellent profile. You have to have an excellent profile. It's the same as LinkedIn, your Instagram page. If you want to be out here connecting, make sure that you look the part. And dating apps make it easy. There is a strategy to it. So unlike other areas of dating where you really have to show up a certain way, and yes, you have to be prepared for in-person rejection and you need to do the approach and you need to be interesting and charming and all those things that can weigh on us. The great thing about dating apps, there's a strategy to it. There are check boxes that you can tick off. Yes, you are still the person that has to show up on the date, but you can create more opportunities if you have your photos locked in, your bio locked in. These are all things that I teach. I have methodologies for everything. I call it the dynamic dating profile method. I would say I see a lot of profiles that people set it and forget it. It looks like they wrote it in 2010. I like this idea of a dynamic dating profile where you are sharing what you're up to today. So I tell men, as the first line on your bio or choosing prompts, talk about something that you have coming up or something that you just did. I just got back from Japan. I just signed up for a real estate course. Say something that makes it look fresh and current. We are all drawn to the freshest, newest content. Just something as simple as that will attract eyes to your profile where other men are getting swiped left on. Of course, paired with excellent photos. Get the photos taken, lifestyle shots, have a friend follow you around. You don't need something fancy. They don't have to be professional headshots. They should not be professional headshots. There's a time and place for that. Show women what it's like to be in your life. We don't want the guy with his shirt off holding his phone and taking a bathroom selfie. We don't want the guy holding up a dead fish. We don't want these pictures. Why? Because women need to see what it's like to be on a date with you. That's what they're picturing. What's it like to be in this guy's life? How does he spend his time? Share that in your photos. Your photos should be telling a story, and your bio, the written part, should match that story. Share more. Women like to read. So as opposed to men who will mostly swipe just based on photos, women will swipe based on photos, but they will read every last corner of your profile. So you have an advantage by making your profile really, really great. And I mean, ChatGPT now, your best friend. I just taught in my group coaching, we did a whole session on how to use AI properly to enhance your dating profile. These are the steps, these are the prompts, and this is how to get it where it needs to be. It's never been easier. With that, I also have a method for reaching out to someone. It's simple stuff. We overcomplicate it. What should I say? What should I say? What's the funniest line I could think of? You really need to be genuine. And the easiest way to be genuine is to lead with curiosity. What caught your eye about her profile? Was it a trip that she took? Was it her cute dog? Maybe don't lead with just how beautiful she is. What's the second thing that caught your eye? And lead with that and ask a genuine question about that. Always mention, I don't know if this is going too long right now, but always address her by name, lead with something that you're curious about, finish with a question.
And so what is an AI prompt that you should use to improve your Tinder profile?
I have a layering method. So when I gave my prompts, it was actually based on my dating app course. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to sell the course. This is just, so I have a layering method. So a few of them are removing the word I, for example. I love to travel. I am a foodie. I. It makes it choppy and challenging to read. So I really like a well-written bio to flow. So I'll say something like, here are 10 of my most recent experiences or things I have coming up. This is what I'm looking for in a partner. Remove the word I from start. Don't start every sentence with I. And these are the 5 prompts I'm using on Hinge. With this information about me, write out my bio. Another thing you can do is ask ChatGPT to ask you questions about yourself that it needs to know to plug into a dating app. So it might be, tell me about what you're looking for in a partner. Like, you don't even have to come up with those things yourself. Just ask it. So maybe that's the prompt. Ask ChatGPT to question you on your values, what you're looking for in a partner, interests, hobbies, things that you have coming up, things you love to do in the city. Feed it that information first. Next step, feed it prompts that you're planning to use on an app like Hinge or Bumble. Feed it those prompts and then have it plug in all the information for you.
So what happens when you're creating your Hinge profile, you're creating your Bumble profile, you're creating your Tinder profile? What then happens when you're like, I don't have anything to put on here that's attractive?
Quirky interests, right? So again, you can go back and forth with a dating coach or ChatGPT in this case and say, how can I turn my slightly boring lifestyle into a way that sounds more appealing to women, but is authentic to me? Because I'm not going to tell him to go and pretend he's doing all these interesting things out in the world where this is truly how he is. And he wants to attract someone who wants a low-key lifestyle and is more of a homebody and also wants to chill at home on a Friday night and make sure the mortgage is paid off. So more important than anything else is that it represents you authentically. Just get the photos where they need to be and present yourself in the most creative way you can.
So then matching authenticity with your profile, like how does a man portray, or I guess you're not portraying, but how does a man show off his authenticity?
Well, I'll bring this offline. Whether you're dating apps or in real life, a lot of men right now are struggling with understanding who is my authentic self. They're afraid to be their authentic self. What's happened over the years of rejection, isolating yourself, not connecting with women, what ends up happening is you end up with all these layers that are keeping you from being your authentic self. You become this person that you think this is you now, but really we have to go on a bit of a journey, chipping away at this block to discover who you really are. When I tell men who have nice guy syndrome, they are people pleasers, they are overly accommodating to women. They immediately put a woman on a pedestal that they met this morning. So I'll say to them, listen, we really need to dial it in a little bit. You can't be texting her all the time. And they'll say, yeah, but isn't that playing games? I'm playing games. Like, I have my phone in my hand. And I'll say, sometimes you need to act in a way that feels unnatural at first to discover that that is the real you. We have Dan Martell in common as our business coach. And something he articulates so well is, in life, there are these dualities in the world. And in order to discover who you really are, you need to go sometimes to the complete extreme and go play in that realm. He gives this example that's very extreme, where he's like, if you're a vegan, if you've been a vegan for 15 years, go eat a steak. You don't have to keep eating meat, but just go shock your brain. Have your brain thinking, what's going on here? Something isn't right. But that's the thing that is going to wind you up really where you're meant to be, who you are today. Not getting caught up in those layers of rejection and the different ways that you've been feeling. So many of us are walking around thinking we're being authentic, and we are so disconnected from who we really are.
So why is being a nice guy unattractive to women?
There's a difference between a nice guy and a good guy. We want the good guy. But nice guy syndrome and nice guy tendencies are people who don't know their self-worth. They have trouble asserting their needs. They're too scared that if they voice what they want, if they say, well, I want to go to this restaurant, or I'm not going to come today, or no, I can't do you this favor, that they will be rejected. A lot of people-pleasing tendencies. And typically this stems from childhood. It starts at a young age. I have a client who's the youngest of 6 siblings. And when he came to me and we started working on his dating life, we quickly realized, well, nice guy syndrome is present in all areas of your life, with your family, with work, and with women. So that's where it really started. He had to start saying, I'm unavailable to take mom to the doctor this weekend. I need you to do it. There's 6 siblings, right? But after 5 years of being the only one that's taking mom to the grocery store and to the mailbox and, he started to say, no, it's shocking. It's shocking for people. And same thing at work. He was the go-to guy for everything. And in the beginning, the reason you slip into that is because you start getting attention from people. It feels really good. Suddenly it feels like a sense of purpose, like there's attention on you, but you do things in order to get that sense of validation. And ultimately, people will not respect you long-term. It becomes a transactional relationship. They need something from you, you're the guy, and you need something from them, you get the validation. It's not an authentic relationship. Over time, you start to resent those people, be it family members, be it your colleagues, or be it women. A man who does not feel safe enough to be his true self will never be able to attract a woman, because what a woman needs more than anything is to feel safe. That's what we need in any environment. From the caveman days, we need to feel safe. A lot of women get frustrated with themselves because they don't know why they don't like the nice guy. They're like, he took me to dinner. He took me to dinner. He messages me good morning every day. He wants to come to the wedding with me. It's everything I always say I want, but I'm not feeling it. Something feels off. What's feeling off is essentially it's an act. And we're not going to be able to form a real connection. There is going to be, as long as he keeps behaving that way, there will always be a barrier from forming a real connection.
Do women look for ways to not trust men?
When we talk about high value women, we're talking about women who are emotionally mature. We're talking to women who are emotionally ready for a relationship. They're not going to play games. They're not going to push you away and test you. So do some women look for reasons not to trust? Absolutely. I probably would not say that they are ready for that level of commitment yet. We've painted this picture like dating apps are only against men. It's not the case. Again, I coached women for many, many years, and something that was always so interesting is that the goal is the same, men and women. They want the same things. They want the long-term relationship. But the path to get there looks very different. Just because women have 200 matches, go through those matches. It is a ton more work. The same amount of work it is to get your profile in excellent shape. Women will just unplug and be like, I can't do this, because it's just, the men are just pouring in. And these profiles, they are terrible. 90% of these men are not going to be asking for a date. They're not looking for a serious relationship. They will ghost. They don't speak English. It will be a huge waste of time. I don't know which is better, sifting through 500 profiles and 500 people that want to date you, or making the effort to get 3 or 4 quality matches. Let's just say they're equally, let's just say it's equal. I understand that it can feel more exciting that women have all the options. And of course it's different. I would like to approach this from the perspective of women want information. When we're booking a restaurant, whatever it is, I want all the details. Do they have a booth? What's the lighting like? Do they have vegetarian options? Right? We like to do that. So when they're going through the profile, if there's information, we're going to go through it. If there isn't, we'll work with what we have. And yes, you may still get a right swipe. I'm just saying it's an advantage. And removing the feeling of safety, yes, the more information I have, the more comfortable I'm going to feel going to the restaurant, going on a date with this guy.
Why do women have it just as hard as men dating on the apps?
So here's what I see a lot. Men tell me they want the relationship. They would do anything for the relationship. Date number 2 rolls around, date number 3, so many men get scared. As soon as, can I say shit on this? Okay. I don't know. As soon as shit gets real, these guys ghost. They bounce. They don't know how to take that next step forward. They don't know how to answer the uncomfortable question. From what I've seen, women are often more ready to take those next steps. They can easily go from date number 3 to, 2 months into a relationship where we start to get to a different point. So I won't go beyond that. But men start to drop at that point. So they'll be all in the beginning. They'll be so happy. They'll be texting, planning the date. And then, like I said, as soon as it gets real, they don't know how to behave.
So what's your advice in that situation then? If he legitimately is like, I want to keep talking to beautiful women, what do you tell him to do?
Yeah. So exactly what I told him was, the truth is, there is someone better for you to date. And there will always be a better match out there for you. There's a better match out there in the world for me now. That's an optimistic way to think. I never want to feel like this is the only person in the world for me. If something were to happen, yes, there are other options. But I live in the mindset of, I am committed. This is the person I'm choosing, and I'm going to make this work. So like in this scenario with this client, I'm holding him to his vision. When he started working with me, he wanted to break through these patterns. He wants to be in a long-term relationship. He wants to be a dad. So when we start to get caught up in the nitty-gritty of what's happening today, we come back to the why. We come back to, this is exactly what you're here for. And on a more strategic level, I told him, you are such a friendly person. You are so charming. Just because you may commit to this woman now doesn't mean you're not allowed to talk to women. Doesn't mean you're not still allowed to go out and spread your sunshine and chat and socialize. We just don't have to take it any further than that. It's been transformative for him so far.
Because he's allowed to embrace his feelings and this conflict of, well, I want to still go talk, but I want to date.
Well, he's finding more freedom in that, yes, this and this. I've been exploring a lot more of this in my life right now, where I don't want to have to make so many compromises. And for a long time, it's always felt like, well, I can do this or that, and I have to choose. And I am really living in a feeling now of, well, I can do this and that. How do I make this work?
Does it become more about communicating with the people that you are dating then?
Oh, I mean, the key to successful early stage dating is over communicating. Always be sure that you're on the same page as someone else. That's what I call dating with integrity. Never misleading someone, never making assumptions. Say the thing 2 times, 3 times if you need to. That is what will move the relationship forward.
And what if they still don't hear you?
What do you mean?
Well, what if you say the thing 2, 3 times and you say it multiple ways, and then there's a conflict that comes up around that same thing? How do you handle conflict early on in dating?
The truth will set you free. In those early stages, say the thing that's uncomfortable and be upfront and willing to say, I don't know how to handle this. I'm hoping we can figure this out together. The reason so many relationships that could have seen the light of day come to a screeching halt is because we enter into a relationship and we still think that we have to somehow figure this out alone. As soon as there is a conflict, we retreat. We start talking to our friends instead. And we're like, what should I do now? Please don't take advice from your single friends unless they are absolutely crushing it in dating and or have recent experiences with dating. A lot of people who are in long-term relationships, they really don't understand the dynamics of early stage dating today. It's like walking on a minefield sometimes. The best thing you can do, go to the person and remember, actually, I'm not alone anymore. This is for us to figure out together. This is a stepping stone in our relationship if we're able to move past this.
Yeah, because if there's hidden truths or lies or things unsaid, that really builds resentment, and not just resentment for the other partner if something comes to light or that you're holding on to resentment, but just you're not being your authentic self, I think. And you're not even giving your partner an opportunity to respond, to support you either. And so you are making a decision for them by not speaking the truth, right?
I heard this thing one time and it stuck with me. It's a little bit more on the intense side, but they were talking about when you cheat on your partner in a marriage, in a relationship. And when you cheat, let's say you're cheating on someone for a year, what you're really doing is you are robbing someone of their time. A full year that this person could be healing from finding out that they've been cheated on, or just by not having the courage to say, I'm going in this direction, or I'm not satisfied, or whatever it is, by being dishonest, stealing that person's time where they could be in a completely different place in that next 6 months or in that next year. And it really stuck with me. When people, so that's a bit more intense, but if I were to bring that into early stage dating, a big one is, are you dating other people? Are we exclusive? And a lot of people will rely on until we say we're exclusive, we're allowed to date other people. I was just having this conversation on my group call yesterday, and I have a client, very charming man, dates easily, and you'd be surprised. Why are these men in a dating program, in a mentorship program? It's for those other pieces. It's for the overthinking. It's for something exactly like this, which is, he says, well, I'm not gonna bring up the exclusivity talk unless she does, because he is dating other people. So we had this conversation yesterday and I said, that's not dating with integrity. It doesn't have to be said for you to feel the energy in the room. The way she's speaking to you, the way she's dating you, the way she's looking at you across the dinner table, you know that she thinks that you're dating each other and that no one else is in the picture. It doesn't need to be said. So these are questions to reflect on. And that's what we spoke about. So we are in this zone right now with this. I'm in this zone right now with this client of changing his behaviors so that it's not for the other person, it's for him. My goal for him and all my clients is to date with freedom and to date with integrity and to feel good. My ultimate goal for clients is to have a rewarding and abundant dating life where you're excited, where you have options, where you get to choose your partner. Coming back to what we were saying earlier, for people who are feeling behind, like they've missed the boat, that there's no one great out there anymore, I'm going to say, please be happy that you're single. And please don't think that the grass is always greener, that just because people are in a relationship that they're thriving. We spoke about this before. There are people in relationships who are just waiting for someone to say, or for someone to call it quits. This is your chance to step into the dating scene with more intention. This is your chance to grow into that person that you want to be, to refine your skills to match your instincts. And remembering that the way to do that is while you date, at least on some level. Early stage dating is the ultimate training ground, is what I like to say, is how I like to view it.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that dating hasn't changed very much with regards to in real life versus on the apps. Communication fundamentally is how you continue to have a successful relationship.
Yes.
So when should a man, when should the woman, when in the early stages of dating, do you talk about I'm dating other people or not? When do you have the sex conversation with your early dating partner?
So those are two questions. I'll address the first one. When do you have that conversation? There is really no perfect time. You have to feel it out. This is about knowing how you want to approach relationships. This is about reading the energy in the room when you're starting to feel like, okay, I think this person is not dating anyone else and they are likely assuming the same for me, being upfront about it. When I talk about experiencing a rewarding dating life, that means being able to be in the driver's seat, taking back your power and doing things in a way that makes sense for you. If it makes sense for you to share on a first date that you're dating other people, say it. If that's what gives you peace of mind, do it. I would say, don't do it if you're not planning on seeing the person again. It doesn't really matter at that point. But if you know things are moving forward and you want to make things very clear, I have no problem with that. Could be something that you mention on the third or fourth date. This is about being present. This is about reading the room. This is about feeling out the energy. And again, coming back to this is about operating with integrity.
When you talk about dating other people, do you need to be clear if you're sleeping with them or not?
This for me would be about courageous communication. It works both ways. Do not make assumptions. So if I'm on the receiving end of someone telling me that they're dating other people, and that's important to me to know, I have to have the courage to ask. I should not make the assumption of what that looks like.
Yeah. So you're saying either in your mind, you could be assuming, oh, they're just dating and talking and having dinner. Or on the other end, you could also be assuming that they're sleeping with a bunch of other people. But either way, you should probably ask the question and clarify so that you're on the same page.
This is about clarifying your own values and knowing what's right for you. So if I'm out on the dating scene and I'm very comfortable dating multiple people, but that does not step over the line of sleeping with other people, you have to have the courage to ask those questions. So it starts with you, and do not expect someone to come in and give you the information that you need.
Does body count matter?
It depends on the person. I have friends, some of my closest friends, their partners, very concerned about it. I have one friend and they just don't talk about it. The guy knows it's nothing crazy, but for him, it's a no-go. they're in a long-term committed relationship, it's just not part of the discussion. In my relationship, I make jokes with Brad sometimes, and I'm like, what if I'd slept with like 40 people before we dated? He's like, I don't care. You're with me now. He's like, you probably did. Like, he'll just make jokes and it just wouldn't affect him. It really depends. I don't think it comes down to, I would like to think it's not about insecurities and more about a value system. For me personally, what you did before should be irrelevant if you are showing up in a way today that is aligned and compatible with the person that you're dating.
Yeah. Yeah. For me.
What do you think?
No, I don't think it should matter.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't think it should matter. Your body count shouldn't matter. It is an individual feeling. It comes down to each person on whether your body count matters or whether your partner's body count matters. Society has created a purity culture that comes from different places of waiting till you're married, that sort of stuff. And so how much of our belief about body count mattering, it stems from just what we've absorbed through what society has told us, that we have to wait until we're married. Although most people, I believe, don't wait until they're married. So we're already sleeping with people before marriage, the majority of people. So does it matter that it's one person? Does it matter that it's 20 people? What is it about a higher number that feels bad to your partner? I don't know. I don't know the answer. It's just, I think these are the feelings that people have. And you could look at it from an optimistic perspective of, they've gone around, they've figured things out, they know what they like. I'm benefiting from that, maybe, right? From their experience. And they also want to be with me. Right?
So that could be a really impactful conversation to have with the partner. Tell me. Maybe I don't want all the details, but tell me your story. Like, tell me about your dating life. Like, let's go there. And if you are someone who is ready to shut down the relationship because of this, be willing to talk about it. We often get very tied to a belief system from the past that doesn't align with who we are today. Values that don't align. When is the last time you reflected on your values? Not you. I know you've reflected on them probably this morning, and you will at the end of the day. But truly, I was talking to a friend of mine who wanted to do some MDMA therapy with her partner. And her partner just will not even have a discussion about it. And I said to her, well, that's fine, but why? Like, why? Has he done research? I know he hasn't, but the idea is it's stuck in a value system or belief system that is so outdated. Help him educate himself so that he can make an informed decision about it. And you guys can be on the same page, and he can say, I get it. I've read through the research. This is why it still doesn't align with me today. So the answer here is to have a discussion, get curious, learn about why this is affecting you. If it's triggering you, what's the reason for that? And you'll at least end up in a much more honest place where both people are on board.
Yeah, it used to really affect me. Like when I was dating before I met my wife, it used to really affect me. And then I met my wife and I didn't care. And actually, I don't even know her number, to be honest, because I didn't care and I didn't care to ask. There is this part of me though that is like, I want to know the stories because it's her and I want to know her life and her past. And there's stories that I haven't told. And I'm not talking about like detailed stories about the acts and, but when you're in your 20s, so many crazy things happen and so many fun nights and like randomness and like it's a part of who you are growing up. And there's a lot of stories that maybe I haven't even told, and I haven't thought about this in a long time, but that I haven't even told her, she doesn't even know, just because, then she might ask about this person. And then I got to tell her that, oh yeah, we slept together, or whatever it was. And And I think that's unfortunate because it is part of yourself. And there was a good friend of ours, Sarah and Ethan, I really admired. He told this story about like in front of his wife. His wife knows the full story, and it's like one of the funniest things I've ever heard. But I admire people that can be that open and authentic with talking about sex with their partner about other people. Like there's something really admirable about being so comfortable in who you are that you can know the details of your partner's intimate relationships of the past and still love them fully and wholly and laugh about it and not be bothered by what they're saying.
Well, what does that mean to you if they're able to do that?
Honestly, it means that I need to question why I feel weird or upset or some sort of way about hearing details or avoiding conversations, right?
I think that I don't know if I need the nitty gritty details, but I can handle it for sure on a surface level story side. The number of women, things that happen, interesting stories, funny stories. I think I'm okay with that. And I love that I can make jokes like that to Brad, where I could be like, well, what if I did? Or what if it was right before you? Like I'll just like poke fun, and it doesn't even faze him. And there's something that I feel really good about when that happens, because in my last relationship, there was a lot of trust issues. There was a lot of jealousy. When you're in a relationship from 16 to 26, it's a very interesting time. So there was a lot of challenging periods in that relationship. So now to be with someone where the trust and the openness and where everything is so transparent, it's such a gift, and it's something I really lean into and need.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so you mentioned porn earlier. What is porn doing to men? What is porn doing to relationships?
Porn is disconnecting men from what it's truly like to be with a real woman. This is an area of my work that I have been going into more in the last, it's quite recent, six months or so, where I started to realize in my group coaching program, porn was something I had never addressed. And since I started talking about it more, a lot of the men have opened up and shared their addictions to porn. So in the group, we have a group chat. They're doing challenges of refraining from using porn, taking breaks more often, and having more of an open discussion about it, which I think is very helpful. But absolutely, it is limiting men from going on a date and being able to view this woman as someone they can really be with. Everything feels very fake. And coming back to the inability, talk about intimacy erosion, the inability to form any sort of connection, have any sort of conversation with a level of depth that can move this relationship forward. And it's so unfortunate, and it can be very confusing for men because they are doing this thing as what they feel is until I meet someone, I'll just do this. They'll tell a story of, well, I need to have my needs met in some way, and I'm not dating anyone right now. Little do they know that every time they're watching porn, every time they turn to that as their outlet for an intimate connection, they are getting further and further disconnected from finding a relationship that's going to work. I have a client who started with me 4 months ago in the program, never been on a real date before. He's 29 or 30, never been on a real date before, never thought dating was in the cards for him, always getting friend zoned in his early 20s, joins the program. Everything starts to shift for him, meets this woman, goes on a date. She's smiling ear to ear. He shares a story in our group chat. He's like, guys, this has been a huge unlock for me. Massive, busted this limited belief that yes, I can date and women can see me as a romantic option. It was amazing. A few weeks later, I'm checking in with him and he couldn't move that relationship forward. I find out And he shares with me in that moment that he has been addicted to porn. He's also in a program to break free from this addiction. He's now seeing firsthand how it's disrupting his dating life.
How does porn disrupt it? Is it literally the time commitment? And is it the emotional? Like how much time are men spending watching porn?
I don't know. I know what I do know is that it varies from person to person. I would say definitely standard is a daily habit for sure. It's disrupting dating because when they're sitting in front of a woman, they have a completely warped perception of what women are like and what a real emotional connection is and feels like. Real relationships take time. There is a building period. For an emotional connection to form, you have to be able to have deep conversations, many of them. So they're going on these dates, but their mind is everything is instant gratification. And it's just not working. So they leave feeling bad. They leave wanting porn. They leave feeling more alone. And again, more disconnected because now it's like, here's this thing in front of me that I've been wanting. Now it's presented itself and I don't know what to do about it.
Because it's not giving me the instant gratification and it doesn't look and feel like I'm used to my daily habit.
And it's foreign. Here's a real woman, how she really looks and what her body actually looks like and what the energy in the room really feels like. It feels like pressure. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to bring this conversation forward. I'm used to put my phone up, do what I need to do. And that is what I consider having my emotional needs met. And it is so far from what is truly available to you and what you have now decided the meaning of connection is.
I'll tell my personal story because I'm sure everyone listening is like, Kassidy hasn't spoken on this. It was probably 10 years ago now, maybe a little less than 10 years, where I was watching porn and my wife kept finding stuff. The incognito tab wasn't working, right? And she and I had to have lots of long, hard conversations. And, we were younger back then, right? And she basically said, I want you to stop watching porn. And I felt really like resentful. And the feeling that I had was actually like I was losing an old friend. And I recognized that was the feeling that I was having. I was like, whoa, that's weird, right? That's strange to have that feeling. And so we sort of came up with this commitment around taking care of each other in an intimate way. And it wasn't like well, you've got to do this every single day and I won't watch porn. It wasn't that. It was a true desire to want to be more intimate and not have anything hidden behind closed doors. And so like, I don't watch porn anymore. I'm not saying that I haven't in the last 10 years, but I love my wife very much. And this was something that was really important to her. And the way that I felt about it when I really thought it wasn't worth it to want to continue, and the way that I felt about the people doing it and just everything surrounding it wasn't right for me in my relationship, and obviously for my wife either. So, I think porn can actually help some men. I think there's a lot of like angry, frustrated, sad men out there, and it might actually help prevent some negative consequences, but I think that's extreme cases. And overall, if you're watching porn and you're not talking to your wife, or vice versa, if you're a woman watching porn and not talking to your husband about it, that is not being, what do you call it?
Dating with integrity.
Dating with integrity. That is not dating with integrity. Mm-hmm. And the best thing that you can do is talk to your partner and your spouse about everything. Like, life is about going through periods of growth, and growth is difficult because you have to let go of old versions of yourself. But what happens is the new doors open as soon as you become the person that's ready to walk through that new door. And in your case, what we're talking about is taking action on becoming a better person and dating before you feel like you're even ready, but doing the work along the way so that the doors will open and that perfect partner for you in that moment will walk through them.
100%. That's very well said. And exactly, like putting dating on a complete back burner for so many years while you focus on your work, like I said, focus on the gym. And again, it's mostly a story more than anything else. 100%. There are a percentage of people that are doing the work, but removing dating entirely is not what a well-rounded man who has all the pieces together would say is the healthy approach. And 100% right. Otherwise, I would be out of business because the men in my DMs, the men chatting with me are the ones saying, I got it all together. What is going on? I am terrified to approach a woman. I have no idea how to use the apps. I'm struggling once I hit date number 3. I can't move the relationship forward. I'm getting cold feet. I have fear of rejection, fear of commitment. These are things that we work on in our lives alongside these other very important areas. We don't say work on your career and you get married, work on your career, and you don't go to the gym for 10 years. How is it going to feel going back to the gym after 10 years? It's going to be challenging. You have to lose all that weight. Whereas these 3 areas, wealth, health, and love, we need to be working towards these 3 areas simultaneously at all times. The difference is, how do we turn the dial up and down and where, depending on what our goals are at the time.
So well said. Kavita, This has been amazing. Thank you so much for being on here. How can people get in touch with you?
So best place is Instagram at Dashing Date. And I have a gift for your audience in particular. So I have a masterclass that I normally sell for $300. I'm going to offer it for free just to your listeners. It's a 2-part masterclass. I just filmed it. One is on how to connect and socialize and approach women. So it's my ultimate guide to approaching women. And session 2 is breaking free from nice guy syndrome. And these 2 topics marry really well together because once you learn that skill of approaching women and socializing more and getting out and about and landing those dates, amazing. But if you have nice guy syndrome and you tend to romanticize the relationship immediately, put her on a pedestal right away, race through the relationship and pay for everything off the bat, you're not going to be able to move those relationships forward. So they go hand in hand. So anyone that DMs me your name, Kassidy, with a K, anyone that DMs me your name, I will send that over as a gift.
Amazing. That's really nice of you. And obviously you're an expert. This has been such an incredible conversation. I appreciate you coming on and sharing all of this. I think this is super valuable. This is the kind of stuff that I want people to be able to have access to and hear. So thank you so much, Kavita. As always, everybody out there, I appreciate you. I love you. And this has been For Your Own Good. Peace.